It is officially 2 days till Christmas, and I made the bad decision of buying a last-minute Christmas present for my 4-year-old son. Now, it's not a poor decision because of what this go-kart is. This is actually a pretty sweet unit. We'll get into that in a little bit. It's a poor decision because I've got, well, roughly 48 hours to get this thing up and running. Whatever parts I'm going to need to get this thing up and running, I've got pretty much today to get it figured out. But what makes better television than a dramatic deadline to get a project done? So that's what we're going to do. So what you guys are looking at is a Manco Interceptor. And cool enough, these were actually made right here in my home state of Indiana. And this model in particular, from the best I can tell, was made from, I think, 2002 to around 2005. And as you can see by the stickers, this thing would have came factory with a 126cc engine. Now, as you can see, that is long gone. And if there's any parents watching this out there, you kind of know how kids operate. They just want to hop on it and go. They don't care about maintenance because, again, they're kids. They don't worry about responsibilities. So you end up with stuff like chain popped off, loose hardware on the roll cage, a blowed out tire that probably hasn't held air for a long time, broken wiring on the only safety feature on this thing, the kill switch, stuff like a cross-threaded oil fill plug, and just flat out missing hardware that holds the clutch on the engine, which I'm sure that's why the chain keeps popping off. Now, I don't know exactly when the last time this thing ran. I want to say it's been at least a year that this thing's been sitting, and they had said that the last time they used it, it was a bear to get started, and they pretty much just gave up on it. Now, in the spectrum of go-karts, this is actually a pretty well-built unit. This has actually got a full live axle set up on it, which is not very common on these smaller karts. Normally, you just see a stub out or whatever for one-wheel peel, but this has actually got a fully encased live axle. It has got your standard run-of-the-mill drum brake set up down here on the axle, and this is set up for a, what is that, a 35 size chain. And this right here is probably going to be the whole bear of the operation. First of all, this has got a funky sized axle. I believe this is a 5/8 axle, not a standard 1 inch or 3/4. So trying to find keyed wheels or hubs that fit this is pretty much impossible. And as you can see, somebody has tried to fix this tire before. They took the nut off of it and pretty much gave up when they figured out that this wheel is seized on the axle. But that is future Levi's problem, so let's go ahead and dig into this thing and see if we can get it running. Now, I have built several mini bikes and go-karts over the years. They're very fun, cheap projects to get into. So that being said, I know my way around a Predator 212 probably better than anything else. And it takes quite a bit to kill one of these things. So first thing we're going to do is find out if there's any oil in it. I know that the oil shut-off switch has been bypassed. It does. Boy, it's blacker than night, but doesn't smell bad. See how bad our air filter is. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not good either. That's funny. Just looking around, I'm noticing a few more issues. For example, our throttle cable is pretty stretched out, so we'll have to adjust that. There is gas in it. Doesn't smell varnished, so that's good. I went ahead and took the clutch off the crank, so we ain't got to worry about this thing bouncing around and tearing that chain up. We've got sparks, so that's good. I will say, as I'm cranking on that, I'm getting a whiff of some pretty bad varnished gas. I've got a little bit of starting fluid left. Let's go ahead and see if it'll start on this, and that'll rule out other things like valve issues, stuff like that. And there you have it. So we have got a very common problem, a dirty carburetor. Now, unfortunately, guys, I'm not even going to bother trying to take this air cleaner off the carb with this engine still mounted. As you can see, there is no room to slide this air box off the engine. Luckily, very simple setup. We just got 4 nuts and bolts, so we'll just go ahead and undo those and pluck this engine off. Oh yeah, I could smell varnished gas. And cool enough, the way these carbs are set up, you can actually pull the bowl off and get access to the jets without having to pull the carburetor. Woo, that gas smells awful. There's our bottom of our fuel bowl. Yeah, it's definitely got the starts of some varnished gas in it. Our jet is actually stuck. You guys won't be able to see it, but you can come in here with a flathead and you'll see the top of the emulsion tube sticking up. You can pop that out. There's our jet, and it is almost completely plugged up. This is the emulsion tube. Well guys, I've got the engine all put back together and back on the cart. However, before I go cinching down the engine bolts, I want to go ahead and get the clutch put back on and get our chain lined up, because that's actually how you set the tension on that engine. You'll see in a second what I'm talking about, but before we do that, I do want to go ahead and take this clutch apart. It sounds pretty crunchy. And a lot of people don't know that these max torque clutches, these are extremely durable, good clutches for go-karts and stuff. You're supposed to oil them. Yeah, right here is that bushing I was telling you about. This thing's actually still got quite a bit of meat left on it, so we should be okay there. And these are your weights. These are what actually sling out and grab the outside of your bell. And fun fact, you can actually fine-tune these. There's another snap ring in here. You take that loose, this assembly will actually slide off, and you see this spring in here. You can actually tune these by changing the tension of that spring. If you want a higher stall or a lower stall, you can swap them out and really get into clutch engagement. Now a little bit goes a long way on these bushings, so don't go crazy. Oh yeah, much quieter. There we go. Now, like I was saying, the chain tension is dictated by the engine position. See, it's tight there. Slide the engine back, it's loose. That's why I wanted to wait to do that. Well guys, on to the next debacle here, and I'm gonna show you what fix I'm gonna do. In order to get this chain, the center line of the chain for the axle, in the proper position on this clutch, the clutch is in this orientation. I can't flip it around, otherwise it'll stick out too far this way. So when I flip it around this direction, it is sticking out too far past the end of the crank for the grub screw to work. I need to use a bolt in this, but I needed a spacer to space it out. That way I'm not pushing the clutch inward on the engine. And I'm sure that's why they probably had issues with the chain popping off this thing, is, you know, they were trying to do something that just wasn't gonna work. So what I found is some of these 1/4 inch 5/16 flat washers fit perfect inside this inner bore of this clutch. And then I've got one bigger washer on the outside we're going to use to cinch everything together, and it should work. And fun fact, these Predators, you would think that the crank would be tapped for a metric bolt. It is in fact not. It is a fine thread 5/16 bolt. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's looking pretty straight to me. And we'll just make sure we got enough slop in our wires so that we can go full lock. And indeed we can. So we'll call that job done as well. Well guys, I think we're ready to finally start this thing and make sure I managed to clean that carb properly. So let's see what it does. Well, it definitely runs. It seemed like it only wanted to run with the choke on, so let's try this again, maybe let it warm up for a minute. No, I still think we have got a carb issue. There's one more jet we didn't check, and I've actually had to change one in the past. I had a generator that was surging real bad, and it was a bad O-ring. Let me dig into this real quick and see if I can find the issue there. All right, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see this, but that black capped Phillips head thing right there is actually your idle adjustment. Directly below that, there's another plastic cap looking thing. Pluck that out of there and I'll show it to you. There's a couple O-rings on there. And what happens, them O-rings will break down, it'll start sucking air, and you'll have a lean condition. So let me go ahead and back that out. We'll pop that out of there and take a look at it. Well, I have got these out. This is that throttle stop I was telling you guys about. That just threads out. But this is that little piece. And it's real hard to see, but if you look right here at the tip of my thumbnail, there's an O-ring there, and there's another one at the bottom. There's a passageway. I'm assuming that's where the fuel comes from. And then there is the other jet. And this thing is tiny. And I can't tell if it's plugged or not. I'm hoping it is. So I'm gonna blow that thing out with some compressed air. Oh yeah, that thing was definitely plugged up. I've got her cleaned and opened up now, but you can really see how small that orifice is. So I'm gonna slam this thing back in and we're gonna try again. All right, we're ready to try again. I've only got 12% battery left on my GoPro, so it's now or never. Well, dang it. A little update for you guys. I finally got it running right. Ended up pulling the jets out for a second time and completely finished everything. And I think we finally got all the dirt flushed out of the car. But after getting it running, I have discovered another problem. Let me hit the brake here and I'll show you. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. So I think what we got going on, I think this clutch is just plumb wore out. I think that spring has stretched internally and it's just engaging at way too low of an RPM. But it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna play with that clutch a little bit. Maybe I can rig it up and get it working right. If not, I'll have to get a new clutch ordered. I need to do something about this back tire. As you guys saw, it's pretty bad. I've actually got some silicone-based tire shine. We're gonna try that out as lube. I've used Armor All before. It seemed to work pretty good. So I'm sure this stuff will be fine. Oh, popped right off. Well, that was extremely anticlimactic. But that's okay. That cute little wheel. Womp, womp, womp. Hey, when was Christmas?
Last year, guys.
Yeah, was it 2 days ago?
And 2 days ago, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, was your go-kart working 2 days ago?
No.
No. Yeah, so you guys know how I said I was going to get this thing up and working for him. Didn't happen. Yeah. Tried to order the clutch and the tires, wasn't going to be here in time. So here we are on December 27th, and we're going to get these parts put on. I found on Amazon, I got a pair of these for like $25. Came with some extra valve cores and stuff. I'll put the links for it in the description. I've also got a brand new 3/4 inch clutch, but we're going to do the crappy job first and see if we can't put these tires on. Got the old tire shine again we're going to attempt to use. And I'm hoping that we can just slip this on. Oh, there we go. Oh, there it is. Ha ha ha, we got it.
Yeah, we got it. We got it, man.
What do you think? Does that tire look nice?
Yeah.
It's a lot nicer than the other one. Now, the responsible thing to do would be to go ahead and swap the other one because I know for a fact it's got a leak. But guess what I'm gonna do? Well, unfortunately, I forgot to hit record on the GoPro, so you guys missed me swapping this clutch, but wasn't nothing too exciting. The link for this thing will be in the description. It was like $20 or $25 on Amazon, and it also came with a whole new link of 35 chain. So I've had pretty good luck with these cheap clutches, and this one should be no different. So I'm gonna cinch our engine bolts down once I set our chain tension, and we should be able to try this thing out. Good? Remember, brake pedal or kill switch, okay?
Okay.
Don't hit nothing. Got an acre and a half back here for him to play in, and he always stays right by the house or the garage or a tree. You know, any hard object, he's got a ride right next to. He really wants to do a donut. I'm telling you, he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna be ripping them. Hold it wide open. Hold it. Kid's gonna run me over. Oh, started to. Keep going. Shut it off. You were doing a donut. It's bouncy, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go and take it back to the barn. What do you think? I think this thing's a little too fast for you.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, I like this thing.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this one. In closing, I just want to say that this is a very good go-kart. If you guys are in the market, anything that was built probably, you know, pre-2005, you're not going to get a bad deal on it. These Mancos are very well built, and as you can see, this thing's 20 years old and still going strong. Future plans for it, I would love to get rid of this funky rear axle, do like a 1-inch axle swap on it, maybe get some 4-lug bolt hubs so I can change the wheels and tires. But yeah, I don't know. You guys have to stay tuned for that. Maybe it'll be in a future episode. But hope you all had a good Christmas and have a good New Year's, and I'll see you around.